Hi Cancer, welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. We are talking about mid-March, just doing a quick check-in, see what's going on, hopefully give you some inspiration for the remainder of the month. And as always, we're just gonna kind of clear the energies. So if there's anything that you would like to be cleansed, throw it in the bowl. Any annoyances, behaviors, thought patterns, anything, throw it in the bowl. We'll get it cleansed for you. I'm going to hit it 3 times. So just be aware of that if you're wearing AirPods. And here we go. I'm gonna do it one more time. There we go. That was it. Much better. So, like I said, we're talking about mid-March. I thought I saw a hair. So we're not really working with a spread. My intention is for just a card or two to come out. I keep saying that, you know, the intention is for these messages to be a little shorter, and none of them have been. So we go where the energy takes us. And that's totally fine. So the cards do need to fall out, as always. I don't shuffle reversals into the deck, but if the card falls out in the reverse, we'll keep it in the reverse. And it's so funny with this deck, I keep being reminded to introduce the deck. And I've never, I don't know, that's just so funny to me. But this is the Modern Spellcasters Tarot that we're using for these mid-month messages. So, what is the message for mid-month Cancer? Mid-month Cancer. Let's see. We have the 6 of Swords, Page of Cups, 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands, Knight of Wands. Beautiful. This is interesting. I mean, I'm just kind of getting, well, let's just start talking about it. And we'll kind of see. There's the hair. I knew it was here somewhere. Okay. So the 6 of Swords, swords have to do with our thoughts and our intellect, right? Our perspectives, how we view our realities from our headspace. It's a lot of our ego also, because our ego lives in our heads. So the 6 of Swords talks about moving beyond a way of thinking. It's generally depicted as like basically like moving from choppy waters to more clear, still waters, which is kind of depicted in this card. I mean, you know, it kind of looks like there's some choppy waters here, clear water over there. But Okay. Like I said, you know, I keep kind of getting like bombarded with like different messages. So I need to kind of turn the volume down and just, like I said, just kind of start talking this out. So, um, you know, this boat is being guided, right? Like, you know, we have this figure here. They have their eyes closed. There's kind of like this offering here, right? And then we have this figure back here that's actually kind of steering the boat. And like their eyes are wide open. There's these coins here. So there seems to either be some sort of surrender. I don't want to use the word sacrifice, because I think, you know, just that word kind of comes with its own connotations. I mean, sacrifices can be large and small, right? And obviously it would depend on your situation, on what you believe to be a sacrifice. But this has this energy of surrender, like just almost kind of allowing yourself to be guided to where you need to go. And even, you know, this box that this figure is holding up here, it's almost, you know, like to me, just kind of, it has this feeling of, you know, kind of holding on to your vision or your values, like what you want, out of the situation. There's this level of protection here too, right? Because I mean, she's kind of, you know, the area where she's sitting, she's surrounded by these swords. So that's interesting. And then we have the Page of Cups. Cups are the water energy, right? You know, I mean, it's very much your energy. So the Page of Cups talks about, you know, youthfulness, definitely, you know, like inner child stuff, you know, with the cups talking about, you know, intuition and empathic abilities. It's a very like dreamy kind of card, like a very, you know, because the pages are quote unquote like the younger energies, like it goes page, knight, queen, king, right? So it kind of, you know, the pages are adolescence and young adulthood. And then the knights are, you know, maybe your like 20s and 30s. The queens are 40s, 50s, and, you know, the kings are, you know, the elder or, you know, kind of more senior cards. So it just kind of talks about the progression of maturity. So, you know, the pages are very, you know, energetically younger and quote unquote less developed. So this could even just be talking about like kind of emotional maturity, but also, you know, like just the depiction in this card, how, you know, this figure here is kind of drinking, you know, this whole cup here, right? Like really kind of, there's no sharing going on. It doesn't look like, right? I mean, like this chick has her hand up, like they're like, you know, we're kind of thirsty too. Very, you know, selfish is coming to mind, but it's also more like it's my way or the highway type of attitude, like just not really kind of seeing beyond. Like, I'm thirsty, so I'm the one that's going to drink this whole cup, not paying attention to, like, there might be other people here that are thirsty. So this to me, you know, like with these two cards coming out together, there seems to be this internal growth going on. Like, you know, the Six of Swords would be moving away from, like, so there seems to be this maturity that seems to be happening. And that could be because there is this surrender that's kind of happening. There may be somebody else in your life because, you know, like both of these cards have more than one figure on them, right? And we haven't even started talking about the Four of Swords yet. So, you know, there could be other people in this situation. That kind of fit these, you know, dynamics. But there seems to be this, you know, kind of coming out of this like one-dimensional, it's me and you know, like it's happening to me thing. And moving beyond that. And then, like I said, when we get over here to the Four of Swords, now there's this individual figure. The Four of Swords talks about, you know, kind of meditation and kind of giving yourself like a mental break. It does talk about healing. It talks about discipline also. And again, you know, just this figure being surrounded by the swords and even these four wolves here. And then, like I said, with this Six of Swords over here and how this figure, there seems to be this level of protection. But also, again, with the swords having to do with our thoughts, this could be, you know, a pattern of thinking. Like this could be a way that you have thought about your, like how you have perceived your reality for a long time. Because like I said, you know, the Page of Cups talks about inner child also and childhood, right? So, you know, like you could be, like just kind of looking at your situation through the lens of your inner child. And depending on kind of where you're at in your inner child work, if you're even working on inner child work, and if you're not, that's totally fine. But that determines, right? Like how we view our realities. So it could be, you know, again, that these swords are the old ways of thinking, just that kind of conditioned way, like the coping mechanisms and the stories that we created about ourselves and the people in our lives when we were children. But now we're adults, right? So now we can go back to our inner child and, you know, like using the experiences and lessons that we've learned over the last however many years to, you know, kind of understand the situations as they were happening. And then under the Four of Swords is the Four of Wands. I'm gonna have to do this again. I've done this with every it's just easier so I don't have to. Can you see everything? Yeah, it looks like it. So again, you know, almost just even kind of getting this message about surrender. Both of these people have their eyes closed. And then we have the Four of Wands behind that. And the Four of Wands talks about unity, like coming together, community. Wands talk about action and communication. Talks about having, you know, like a sturdy foundation, so it can talk about our homes or just, you know, security in general, like whatever, you know, kind of security would look like. You know, I mean, it could be home, it could be, you know, having a job that offers you, you know, like a sense of security. And again, even just kind of talking about discipline with the fours. So it's interesting that we have two fours that come up back to back. And then we have the Knight of Wands here in the middle. And I'm just like, there's just this feeling of like, you know, kind of victory to a certain extent. Like, you know, the Knight of Wands is, you know, creative and kind of just goes for it, right? But just, you know, like seeing, you know, their body language on this card, to me, this has a feeling of, you know, victory. Or even, you know, just like this sense of, you know, freedom to a certain extent. And then we have the Hanged Man that talks about, you know, kind of suspension, maybe a slight delay. But this is also an invitation to change your perspective. It is seeing things from a different point of view. Generally, or traditionally, the Hanged Man is hanging from one foot upside down. And it's, you know, almost kind of willful, like they don't seem to be in distress. There's usually like a halo around their head, so it talks about enlightenment. But in this depiction, that doesn't really seem to be the case, right? We kind of have this contraption here. They're sewn in, and then there's straps over that. So this is kind of like, to me, I'm getting this message of okay, so the exact words that I heard were, this is the only way you can be taught. So this seems to be like kind of like a purposeful lesson from, you know, from the universe, God, the divine source, whoever you deem, you know, like however you identify with a higher power. I identify with our higher self, like our higher selves. But this is, you know, again, it's kind of like, there's no other way that you would have seen it unless you were kind of forced, right? Like, because this seems forced. You cannot really get out of this without help, right? So, again, like I said, there's this intentional enforcement of this lesson. And, you know, whatever the situation is, it had to go this way because it was going to be the only way for you to kind of see like what maybe needs to be surrendered in your life. You know, like maybe just ways of being, maybe just kind of having this kind of bulldozer effect, or like I said, just kind of this my way or the highway type of thing, which is understandable, obviously, right? Like depending on how our situations and how our lives have gone, like, you know, we could have developed this, like I said, kind of bulldozer effect of, I don't ever feel like I get what I want. So I'm going to control the things that I can, and I'm not going to budge. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is this gift, almost like from the universe, right? Or God, again, you know, however you identify with that energy. Pentacles have to do with our money. It has to do with our material and resources. It's the 3D world. Like the things that you can physically touch, our bodies. So this is, you know, like some sort of new beginning. This is even maybe the security that I was talking about here. Having this kind of new level of security, but it's almost like reinforced. And then we have the Justice card behind that. And, you know, Justice talks about the scales balancing and fairness. And we even have the wheel from the Wheel of Fortune up here. So it's kind of, you know, like things are, you know, like moving in your favor. And then, you know, she's holding this pomegranate, and if you can see, her hand is bones, right? So the pomegranates talk about fertility, like birthing opportunity into your life. And that could have taken sacrifice. Remember, like I was mentioning sacrifice over here. So, you know, the situation, whatever it is, and of course, you know, I mean, it's dependent on each person. But there seems to be this level of sacrifice, this level of surrender that it's kind of like, you know, like the universe is asking you to kind of give an inch, but it's almost kind of like you don't see it as an inch. You see it as a mile when really it's an inch. And it's almost kind of like, too, that by surrendering or making this sacrifice, that is the thing that kind of gets this wheel moving, right? Like that's the thing that allows you to have like this level of freedom, or, you know, just kind of feel like you're heading in that direction. It allows you to have this sense of security. You have this kind of inner, you know, kind of transformation. And like I said, you know, it might even involve other people in, you know, like, in like directly involved in the situation. But there's a lot of like inner work that's happening with you, which is beautiful. You know, like it's growth, right? Like, and it's getting you, it will get you where you want to go, right? Like we kind of go from this, you know, kind of Four of Swords to this Ace of Pentacles, like this beautiful journey. To getting exactly what you deserve. And it's there waiting for you. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. I think, right? Yep. And thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Cancer.